Welcome to Reddit TTS. My mom and brother were in a sexual relationship. I never told anyone. When my brother and I were kids, our dad died. My brother was 13, I was 7. After he died, my mom fell into a depression. We had to sell our house and move. We ended up having to share a room for a while. My brother became the man of the house, so to speak, when he got old enough to work. Around 15, I was acting out a lot even at 9. Anyway, my mom barely paid attention to me and would spend days in bed whilst my brother looked after her. Around the time he turned 16, he started sleeping in her room. It was like normal, I guess. He would just stay in there watching TV with her and he'd fall asleep next to her. I'd go out and spend time with the older boys in the neighborhood and just come home a lot of nights, and usually the door would be open and they'd both be asleep whilst the TV was still on, and I'd go in and turn it off. One night though, I was sneaking in at my late hour as usual, and I didn't hear the TV on, but I heard noises. You know what kind? Obviously curious, I crept down the hall and my mom's bedroom door was open a crack, and at first I just saw her and like some other person limbs, assuming she had met someone. I was a curious 10-year-old, so I peeked a bit. When I realized who the second person was, I kinda froze and was full of weird emotions, but I thought I'd just ignore it. I was 10, I knew what was going on, but I was also like, maybe that's normal. I know it happened more often than just the time I saw, because I'd hear it sometimes. My mom always treated him like the favorite, and she seemed to come out of her depression a little more. My brother didn't have to work as much anymore cause she found a job. My brother would get in fights at school a lot and she would go in and defend him. She used to be, when my father was alive, very modest, but now she'd go to my brother's sports games and stuff dressed pretty inappropriately, but I just wanted to see her happy, so I didn't say anything. My brother, I assume the same. I have never spoken to him about it. My brother and I have both moved out of home, and my mom is getting remarried now. My stepfather, who raped me as a child, still dares to touch me, and I can emotionally handle it. I'm usually able to keep myself in check, but today, he touched me. My room does not have a working lock, so my parents can check on me whenever they feel like it. I was in the middle of changing, and wasn't expecting anyone to even go in my room, but he did. I quickly covered myself with my whole damn curtain. My closet is shut using curtains, but I guess that wasn't a good enough signal to get the FCK out of my room and stop looking at me, as he stopped in his tracks and groped me. I really want to just die. No, I am not suicidal. But I swear I would have rather killed myself or killed him instead of having to feel his disgusting touch on my body. I felt such rage inside me, and if I had a weapon I would have immediately slashed it at him with no regrets. I would have reported him, taken him to court, I would run away, I would do anything to get away, but I just can't, and it pisses me off. He is the sole reason my mother isn't in the hospital because of her shitty addiction. He is the only reason I'm in a good school that will guarantee my future, and he is the sole reason I have a roof over my head. But it's so damn hard living with him. I hate his eyes. Those eyes that have seen me exposed in my most vulnerable time, and his hands that have dared touch me where no father should with the intent of sexual interaction. I swear if I was still 8 years old, if I had understood what he was doing to me, if I had the strength, the courage, the knowledge to, I would have stolen everything from him and made sure one more sick person was taken out of this world. If you read this, thank you. All I needed was for someone, anyone, to know that this happened, because it gives me comfort in the thought that I'm not the only one who knows this happened to me. My boyfriend of 4 years killed himself 4 days before our anniversary. On October 27th, I came home to find my boyfriend dead in our bed. We had gotten in a fight the night before. He was extremely drunk to the point he was falling on his and was yelling at me, so I left to spend the night with a friend. My phone died, so I couldn't save him this time. His second to last text to me was, "I wish you would have answered." On top of everything, his private viewing was on the day of our anniversary, and the funeral the next day. At first I felt guilt, but I don't anymore. I had saved him from 10 previous attempts and got him to see a doctor and got medication. I never thought he would ever do it. I pulled guns from his head before. I followed him to a bridge he tried to jump off. I stopped him from jumping off the roof of his apartment complex. I like to believe I did all that I could. That doesn't make it hurt less though. I came home and the TV was still on, so I laid on top of him and tried to wake him up. I will never forget how cold his hand was when I picked it up. I will never forget shining my phone light on his head and seeing what he had done to himself. I'm scared I might have PTSD, so I'm working on gathering the money for a therapist. He was the love of my life. I've loved him since the day we met. He was the best boyfriend in the world. We had the best night the night he took his life, until he got too drunk and the night was ruined. I was about to be starting the job of my dreams 12/16 and he was going to become a firefighter this summer and we were going to get engaged and move into a house together on some land. It's been 4 weeks, and I still cry at least 2 hours a day. Just uncontrollable sobbing, every day. I've been going to church, looking for a therapist, and reading books about understanding suicide and mental health. Nothing seems to help. I surround myself with friends and family, and they are so supportive, but nobody can help me with this pain that I'm left with. I resent my parents for spanking me. I hate my life, who I am, my body, my family, my trajectory in life, and everything about everything. I don't need to be told to see a therapist. If I had the funds to do something like that, I have done it. So maybe posting on a community like this will in some way make me feel better. I will not kill myself, but as I fall asleep there isn't a night I don't think of just buying a firearm to have a quick exit. I don't know how many people can understand where I'm coming from. When I say I'm alone, I mean that I don't remember a time in my life when I've had a friend. I was the third child of 4, and at a young age was told by my parents that they just wanted a daughter, and was quick to put together the puzzle that I was really just an attempt at having that. I know this had a profound effect on how I see my body and just so many countless things. I love my parents, but I resent them with every fiber of my body for ever telling me that. But that's just its own can of worms entirely. I resent them most for beating me under the guise of spanking until a late age. I hate them for breaking a thick wooden paddle on my using hairbrushes or belts or bare hands, and letting me scream until my voice was coarse. I doubt anyone will read this, but I've never put it into words. I went to a very Catholic elementary school and was in the principal's office almost every other day. Let me give an example of the bullshit I had to go through, and remind that this is the first grade, not fourth, not eighth, first. A girl I was sitting next to was drawing a mermaid and I had never spoken to her before. I remember it vividly because this interaction pigeonholed my reputation as a troublemaker to the school enough so that my dad, who taught there at the time, left his job and switched us all to public school. I asked the girl what she was doing and she was drawing a mermaid from the head down, and I didn't even realize it was bad to ask, but I asked if that was her bra because she hadn't finished the drawing yet and it was just a girl's head and a chest. I was sent to the office and promptly was beat with a paddle that night. Next week I asked a girl next to me what the teacher said, and instead of being shushed or asked what my problem was, we were both sent from the room and I was beat again. This trend went on for another whole year, and we switched schools. I've skipped a lot, but there were just too many repetitions of me not understanding why I was being hit. Fast forward to something I did that I forget, and remembering like it was yesterday, my parents debating who should be the one to spank me. My mother said she didn't want to hurt me and left the room, and 20 minutes later, I know the time because my siblings would listen from the stairs outside of the room, my dad would be done. My parents are not bad people. They are the small business owner types that have a vital role in their communities, and there are hundreds of people that would jump in front of a train for them, but I am not one of those people. Hell, in the 8th grade, about 4 or 3 years since the last time I had ever done a single thing out of line, I feel my dad fell into an undeserved old habit and threatened, very seriously, to disown me as his child because I missed a single assignment in my math class. The other day in passing, my dad hit my rear. I'm 25 and this was more of a guy-to-guy hit like they do in sports, and it took everything in my not to scream in his fucking face to keep his hands off of me. Am I allowed to resent my parents for this? I feel everything in my life that I should blame myself for is rooted in the self-defense mechanisms I had developed through my young life. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe.